and it goes no, this is live. Now it's on Facebook, right? So now
we're on Facebook Live now.
We're on a private group, right?
Where's our Banter Bowl starter?
It's not up now. I haven't even put that up yet.
We're not even with Nick Johnson.
Not Nick Johnson. Nick and Brian are live now. Here we go. So
we're live.
Theoretically,
it doesn't. It'd be nice if it said, down at the bottom corner, 2 people are watching currently.
Okay, now we are live. Yes, now I can see this. And now I'm just trying to figure out.
Watching yourself on Facebook while we're doing
watching the Facebook, watching it live. Yes, now sharing it. I just need a little button to share with the boys, and then I can just give it there. Watching it live. Fantastic. So, well, you can talk. You can just.
Do you know what movie I started watching actually last night? Have you ever seen the movie Quigley Down Under with Tom Selleck from 1990?
Long time ago, yes.
Yeah. So I saw this. I went to a birthday party when we were in grade 6 for a guy named Jeff Henniger.
Yes, I know him.
Yeah, and I don't remember.
He got beat up by Fudge. What's his name? Hockey hair.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, but it was in grade 6. It was his birthday, and there was like a tent in his backyard. There was like a little river ravine thing, and so I remember watching Quigley Down Under on his grade 6 birthday. Whatever. What did that? 12. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I saw that it was on Amazon Prime, so I started watching it again, and I was like, I think I enjoy quite a number of Tom Selleck movies that probably aren't very good. Because I got to tell you, I love this Quigley Down Under and Mr. Baseball.
Yeah,
these are good movies.
Mr. Baseball was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So see if the link. Do you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
See if it works.
But I don't have Facebook.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna do the little intro now.
Well, I mean, worst comes to worst, I can't imagine anybody actually watching this live. I mean, most people have lives, unlike us, right?
Unlike us. Okay,
how's it possible? I don't know.
Intro.
Yeah. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers. Yeah. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers. Yeah. Trash talking, who the best? Who make good or bad trades? Who pick the best players? Who got certified game? We just football lovers. Come and join the funny games with the Banter Brothers. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers. Tuned in to the Banter Brothers with your host Brian Paulo and his co-host Nick Johnson, coming at you live with this week's fantasy football highlights and trash talk. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers. Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers, Banter Brothers.
Hey, what up? What up?
Hello. Live from Tottenham.
It's from Newmarket. Yeah. No, first time
allegedly live. I sent the link to my wife thinking that she's going to try and pretend to care a little bit and watch this. And she's saying she can't find it. So I don't know if that's just an excuse to not actually listen to it or if it's true she can't find it. So we'll see.
We'll see.
If not, see you tomorrow. Yep.
Anywho. So let's get on to it already.
Week 11, right?
Huh?
Week 11?
Week 11, but you know what? Prior to week 11, let's just, I'll give you the Banter Bowl updates. I guess you can
Banter
talk about
Bowl.
That. Yeah, last week. 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds. I know too.
That's all. I'll just give you the chorus.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a well-deserved win. It went pretty much as I thought it was going to. My team, very much like myself, we thrive on the pressure. We thrive during crunch time. We know when it's game time, and we go through it, and we go for it, and we see the end zone, and we go. And just very much like you see the pressure, and you say, I don't know. Maybe next week. Next week maybe it'll be an easy win. And so I think that's just what happened. Art imitates life sometimes.
Okay. You just got lucky with a couple matchups there. You just got pure luck, Nick. Pure luck on that
It
one.
can't be pure luck when I smoke you, though.
It wasn't a smoke, man.
It
Come
was
on, man.
pretty much a smoke. Come on. You just got to give it. Listen,
I give you the win, but congratulations, Nick.
Well, I appreciate it. You know what? It was extremely surprising. Like I said to you privately, but we'll say it. You had all the matchups. They were all greens. I didn't think that I was going to. I just didn't think with Lamar having sort of the so-so Thursday and then sort of the poorer matchups on paper and everything else. I just thought that you were gonna take it last week. But I'm very happy to be wrong.
I bet you are.
Yes,
so
extremely.
Okay. Well, that kind of sucked for me, but anyway, let's on to the new. Week 11.
Oh, week 11.
Week 11, Chewies versus you.
Oh, Newendorf says, not on Facebook, homies. Have fun. Looking forward to seeing it tomorrow.
Yeah. Technical difficulties. My bad, people.
It is what it is. I'm not on Facebook either. So I'm live, but I don't get to see me live either. So
yeah, I guess. We'll see it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Matchup number 1 we're going to talk about is you and Taylor.
Yeah, you know what? Up and until about 3:00 this afternoon, I would tell you that I was feeling reasonably hopeful. Reasonably. The matchup sort of looked good on paper. We were sort of tied in point projections, sort of thing. Kamara wasn't looking good like he was, and then he got ruled out. So there goes one of his big boys. We should talk about the luck that Rizzy's getting with all of his trades right now with all the injuries. But I was thinking, I got a shot here. This is pretty good. And then outcomes after that, Lamar questionable for tomorrow with his ailment, whatever he's got going on. And then I wasn't really relying, but I was sort of hoping that Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't going to actually be playing tomorrow, because that would mean I'd have the backfield to myself with Darrell Williams. But then it comes out, no, we're going to be activating him off of the IR. Doesn't mean he's playing for sure, but looks more than likely that he is going to be. So that's a little bit of a kick. So now I'm feeling slightly less confident, but I'm feeling pretty good. I did a big trade with Rizzy this week, solidified the lineup, and I'm pushing forward.
It seems like who didn't trade with Rizzy this weekend, but we'll get onto that later on.
Yeah, well, Rizzy's taking advantage of the time before everybody's left over, and it's just going to be picking up the bones.
100%. I see that. Yeah. Okay, so for Taylor and you guys, listen, man, I think you're in a little bit of a pickle. I think Taylor is looking strong. He hasn't filled in his lineup yet, but I know he has a little bit of bad luck with his lineup. But I think Roger's going to get a little angry with Minnesota this week.
I'm not advising or speaking on his lineup whatsoever because he's got 3 or 4 guys that he could choose to slide into. I would imagine he's going to put Zeke in his starting running back slot, and so it's going to be a flex. So it's going to be one of either a wide receiver or running back. And you know what? I wish him luck. I hope he chooses poorly.
He has great options. Okay,
he has good options, but it doesn't mean all 4 of them are going to go off. It just means that he's got good options. But I wish him luck, but not really.
The only concern is Hawk at tight end position. He's not doing so good.
Yeah, you know what? He's like, again, he is like most tight ends out there, which is last week he gave you a 0, very much like Gesicki did. Doesn't make sense. They played 5 quarters. Okay. They were down. It was a competitive game. He should have had more than 1 target. He didn't. He had 1 target, 0 catches, 0 points.
Ouch.
But then the week before that, he was the best scoring tight end in fantasy for that week. So that's what a lot of tight ends are. If you're not a Kelsey, a Waller, a Kittle sort of thing, it's like, your range of outcomes is somewhere in the neighborhood of a Goose to 15 points or whatever the case is. And so he's no different, you know.
So yeah, that's where he has to make his little decision on Hawk or Arnold, because Arnold's pretty he's pretty decent in the last kind of stretches. He's going to give you your points. He's going to get decent targets. Now, is he going to be this week going to give you the points, I guess, right?
I have opinions on everything, but I'm not sharing them at all in regards to my matchup.
Okay.
I like my lineup. I've got a couple of lottery tickets in there right now. Again, I was hoping Darrell Williams, he would have been a more solid lottery ticket
Yeah.
if he was the starting running back against Dallas without CEH in there. With CEH in there, I don't think I'm going to risk it this week. So I'm going with my couple of my Kadarius Toney and then my Christian Kirk if Kyler is in.
Mm.
Those are my two flex positions, and we'll see where it goes.
And you're not concerned about Lamar, his little sickness, maybe he's a little.
I'm not really concerned about Lamar, but I think it does cap the top end of what, like, if he's got some kind of a stomach bug or stomach ailment and they're
Or the
pumping him full
shits.
of
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, he had a great game last year when he had the shits. So he just went in for a couple minutes, came back out. But depending, I mean, if he's, 15% weaker than he normally is while he's getting all these fluids and IVs and everything else, I think it just probably caps some of his running, some of the, but then Hollywood Brown is out now this week too.
Indeed.
So, I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean that more passes go to Bateman? Does it mean
Run the ball?
Does it mean that they're running the ball more? Does it mean that it's going to Andrews just a ton? If Bateman is now up against the number one cornerback and safety and they're double teaming him, how's he going to do? There's a lot of things that go into it. I really don't know, but I'm not terribly concerned about Lamar not playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I am concerned for you because
I appreciate you're concerned for me every week because you're a caring and loving guy.
I am. I am. I do care for everyone, but I'll tell you, I think Taylor's just gonna, with his lineup and the options that he has, and he hasn't made a wrong option yet so far that I know of. But you're in tough, Nick. I'll tell you this.
I'm in tough. Listen, I would say
Taylor to win.
I would say, well, here I would say that if you were to go on the season and you were to look at everybody's roster, Taylor's got the best starting lineup of anybody. So his top three receivers and his top three running backs, if healthy, were better than anybody else's roster. So, this is what it is. But it's a matter of, do you get them on a bad day when they don't show up? There's just a lot of things that go into play, right? So you're right. He's got a great roster. I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm just still grooving off of last week's win over my Banter Brother.
Yeah.
That, this week to me is a little bit gravy just with what it is, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I don't think you're really going to go down in position even if you lose this week, right? So you won't go down to.
Well, Doug's going to lose, but we'll get to him in a minute. So, so he'll be 6-5. If I lose, I'll be 6-5, and we're just going to keep going around the merry-go-round. So no, I'm not terribly concerned this week. Obviously, I want to win. That would be nice, but we'll see. We'll see how the matchups go. I like some of my matchups with the players. I like a lot of things going on with my team right now, but there's just a couple of areas that aren't as strong as what Taylor's team is. So we'll just see how it goes.
Okay. Well, I'm calling Taylor.
I hear you. I'm calling me.
Okay.
Why not? Listen, the last 4 weeks I've called everybody else to win except for me. So I'm feeling pretty happy right now. I like the team where it's at, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Next. Johnny versus Jared.
Yeah, well, Johnny's going to lose.
Wow, that was quick. There we go. Send it. There we go. We're done.
Yeah, Johnny. Well, I mean, listen. Jared had already the projections. I don't understand Jared's team. I mean, now that he's made that trade, even though it benefits me in the short term because I don't have to face Amari Cooper next week when I play him, and Johnny doesn't have to face Amari Cooper this week or Javian Williams. The truth is that Jared didn't give up anything for that trade. He just gave up a 7th round pick. So it's just for next year. Yeah. So the lineup that Jared's been rolling with, I don't understand how it keeps winning because it sucks, but it does. It is what it is.
But it does.
And Johnny lost Hollywood Brown. He lost Hollywood Brown this week.
He also lost Chubb.
No, Chubb's back.
Oh, Chubb's back from the
Yeah,
COVID?
Chubb's back. He's lost Chris Carson now for the year, so hoping
Chris
that he was going to come
Carson.
back. So
That's who it is, yes.
so Johnny has been dealing with a little bit of injuries here because he lost Chubb the last week, so he's been
Yeah.
running short on running backs and had to start Naeem Hines. Now he's got Chubb back, but now he's lost, Hollywood Brown for the week. So that's going to be a hit because Hollywood's been playing really well this year. So
Yeah.
I just don't think that Johnny's got the horses to take on Jared.
Okay.
Jared is again, it's like an algorithm that I just can't wrap my head around. It's like an NFT. It is cryptocurrency. It is all of these things. I look at Jared's team and I want to throw up. And yet it keeps winning and is doing far better than mine is. So I don't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it. I don't get it. You can tell me that it's Kelsey and that it's
And it's
Josh
Allen doing all
Allen,
the work? Yeah, I don't
Devontae
know.
Adams. Those are just three guys.
I
I
don't
don't get it.
I don't get it either, but he is up there, man. He is trucking.
Yeah. Should we talk about these individual trades as we
Yeah,
go through
we
the
got to
matchups?
get going with the trades. I guess we're going to start with the Rizzi and Jared trade because that one is just hysterical. Just right off the get-go with dumb luck with that one.
Oh, I mean, listen, brilliant dumb luck. I was telling Rizzy that he's gotten really lucky with a lot of his trades.
The
That
last
it just
couple, yeah.
happens to work out. Like I trade him for Boston Scott. Boston Scott has an
Woo.
awful game, whatever, that's fine. But he's traded and it's just injuries. Oh, the Miles Sanders and David Montgomery one, of course.
That
This
was in the
one was the
beginning, yes.
best one of all because it was literally seconds
Seconds.
after it went through. But the truth is that Jared doesn't need these players until the playoffs. He's got his playoff position secured.
Okay.
He could be going for first place for that $50 automatic, which is fine. But he's secured in the playoffs, so really, he doesn't need these guys this week.
Okay.
And luckily for me, he doesn't apparently need or want Amari Cooper for next week. So we'll see where it goes. But Jared was hurting for running backs, so he got Javian. I'm a big believer in Javian, obviously.
Yeah.
I had him. It feels like 4 days ago. Pack your bags. But he's got really great playoff matchups. So Jared did good on that trade. It's a big price to pay, a 7th for a 20th. That's a big leap, but it's a good trade.
It's a good trade for Mike for sure because he's just breaking up assets and stuff like that, right? So, but either way,
this is what I was saying though. So
it's not really hurting Jared.
No, it's not really hurting. Like a 7th round, you're still picking up a good guy next year if you're drafting in the 7th, and if you're drafting in the 20th, you're not picking up a very good guy next year. So that's the difference, right? So you're right. But what it's doing, and I think that this is what is really interesting, is that for the guys that in the next couple of weeks, because I think we only have 2 weeks or so till the trade deadline.
Yeah.
The guys that sort of are going to, if there is a falling out. So say right now, because right now outside of the playoffs are you and Chris. So if you both lose this week, I know Chris is panicking right now.
Chris is panicking.
Chris panicking. He actually picked up a kicker. He was going to try and roll without him for a while, but he picked him up. But if for whatever reason you guys lose and you're like, I think I'm going to sell off some of my pieces. It's a question of how many trade partners are available and then what are you going to get for them. So Rizzy is getting ahead of the game and I applaud him for it. I think Rizzy is making good moves. Not during the regular season when he had to try and win actual games.
Yeah.
But he's doing good moves to retool for next year.
I hear you. I was even asking him, where was his risky Rizzy before in the beginning of the season? This is what we needed risky, in the beginning.
Yeah, just think if he had made that Kamara trade, and then I've lost another trade. I know there was another trade where it's just like,
so many.
Why isn't he picking up a little bit of a draft pick sweetener or whatever the case is? He could have gotten more out of those two as well, right?
Yeah.
But listen, it is what it is. He's stacking them up now, and so he's got an extra 4th from me. He's got an extra 7th from Jared. He's going to have a really well-balanced team, or at least he should, unless he starts drafting Deshaun Watson and Antonio Brown. And
that's another podcast right there. Yes.
So, but if Rizzy comes in reasonably researched next year, he's going to have a really good team.
Yeah, I agree. But let's go back to Jared and John there for a second.
Sure. Jared's going to win.
Okay. So Jared's going to win.
Yeah, Jared's going to win.
Jared's going to win. Listen, I see John. Well, John, he started with a little bad luck with Pitts over here. A little crummy game on a Thursday night again. There's a Thursday night crummy games again, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I had Pitts in my other league. It is what it is. I mean, Thursday games, you just hope you don't have them. It's really what it is.
yeah. But I can see Johnny pulling this one off. You know what I mean? Like it's not that big of a stretch. He does have some players to really put up some points here. But again, I
Well,
think I
I
think you're
hate
right. I think
Jared's team. I hate Jared's team, but I hate it in the same way that I hated James Conner in every single matchup that I would say Chris Bencham, and he just keeps scoring touchdowns.
yeah,
Like Corey Davis and Tyler Boyd as your number 1 and 2 receivers. I just don't think that those guys are going to get you the points. If one of either T Higgins or Jamar Chase was out, yeah, T Higgins or Tyler Boyd rather would have a good week. But
yeah.
it's not reliable to count on it, right? And then you got Corey Davis. He hasn't had a good week since like week 1. So
Yeah, and I think the other guy's way a little bit better actually. Elijah Moore, who
yeah,
you don't want to pick up, but I'll
but
tell
I
you,
mean,
he's going to have the big game. I think.
he's got a good team. It's just that Jared's team, however, it's been working. I think Jared has made a deal with the devil. I mean, first of all, his Dallas Cowboys are doing well despite really royally sucking, and his team is doing well despite really having only like 2 or 3 players that I actually would want.
Three players that are
Yeah,
really, really producing well. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I guess that's all you need, really.
yeah. But I mean, he
Well, he has a
retooled.
good defense. Listen, we're not talking about defense, but he has a good defense.
Yeah, I mean, Jared understands fantasy football and he understands defensive players and everything else, and he is very good at picking defense. So he's got a
Yeah.
good quality defense
Yeah.
for
Look,
sure.
look at all these linebackers here, folks. Well, he's focusing on linebackers.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Anybody that's smart goes for linebackers. They're just to me, they're just more reliable for points. Safeties can get you an interception, return for a touchdown, and some of them are good and everything else. But I just find that there's less reliability with it.
Yeah.
You know,
So
so
we are on Jared. We think Jared, Johnny, Jared.
I'm going Jared. Like,
A little
listen,
bit Jared.
if Hollywood Brown was in there, and
Yeah.
then I feel a little differently. I know Johnny's doing what he can do. I mean, when you get hit by the injury bug or the COVID bug, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Johnny's weak at running back though.
Yeah.
So if Johnny is in any way looking to try and make a trade, if there's even anybody left off of Mike's roster to take, and it would be a running back. I think Darrell Henderson is coming up next week. but
Probably.
but yeah, he's really weak. Like if one of them goes out, he just has nobody.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is, right?
Okay. Little Giants versus 2021 spoilers.
Chris is in real trouble.
Chris is in real trouble indeed.
I don't think he is, but you know what? Again, it's very strange for Rizzy to make a trade for the future and actually end up getting the better end of it this week because Michael Gallup now goes in as the number 2 receiver
I know, eh?
against Kansas City. So there's going to be lots of points going back and forth.
Him. Yeah.
So, I mean, he's going to have a good game.
Oh, I didn't even see this. He picked up Robbie Anderson.
Yeah. You didn't see me make a comment about Sir Purr, brought Sir Purr.
Oh my God, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Again, I like Rizzy is, again, he's trying to play spoiler. He's already got 16 points from his kicker, which is always a nice, outstanding thing to just rock your boat a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Chris has got a good team. I think it's all sort of come into place now with CMC coming back. Sometimes you sort of look and you think that the trade that what was like if somehow you would convince Chris to trade CMC to you with your convincing that he's pretty much like Saquon Barkley. If somehow you were able to pull that one off,
I guess we're gonna find out this week for me.
You shut your mouth.
Yeah.
It feels like millennia ago that we had this 20-minute argument over whether you'd want Saquon or CMC, and CMC has just put up like back-to-back like 25-point outings.
25 points. Okay, but it's not really 30.
Shut your mouth. It's so
Talk to me when he's back-to-back 30.
Listen. Oh my god.
We'll see what Barkley does. I've been hearing the Barkley. He's pretty good at. He's looking good this week. So.
Hey Chris, listen, Chris. I don't know if you're aware, but Barkley might be coming back this week and might do okay if you're still interested in that CMC trade, buddy. They're almost alike.
McCaffrey's schedule is looking a little tough in the playoffs, so I'm not interested in them more. So. Half price. I'll take him. But we'll see.
Yeah. No, Chris has got a good team. I mean,
He
it's a
does have a
solid
good
team.
team.
I mean, where his weaknesses are his flex positions right now. Sanders hasn't been doing very good for the last 3 or 4 weeks. T.
Yeah.
Higgins, again, really actually hasn't been doing very good all year largely.
Okay.
So, his weakness is his flexes. But again, he's got Melvin Gordon and Cortland Sutton out.
Mm-hmm.
Jarvis Landry, I would just be dropping him myself personally. I wouldn't be
Landry?
carrying him. No. Yep.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, I'd be
who else
dropping him.
are going to throw in Cleveland? Like, it's him.
You know what? You could be saying that all year long. Look
Okay.
at his stats. Pull them up. Here are his
Can you pull him
points.
up?
Week 1, 16.9. Following that, 1.4. Skip 4 weeks, 6.2, 7.5, 2.6, 4.6.
Wow.
This is with OBJ out. This is with OBJ trade demands. This is with all of this other stuff. He hasn't been good. He is a name, and even his name was something that was more of a consistent possession receiver, not a high earning fantasy points guy. I'd be dropping him myself personally.
Okay. Well, you heard it there, Chris. Drop him.
Yeah. Free offer. But yeah, I mean, Mike's team looks good. Amazingly enough, like somehow he's holding it together okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, he still has 1, 2, 3, 4 kickers. 5 kickers.
you got 5 kickers?
He's still doing the kicker thing. Wow.
Well, why
You
not?
want a
Right?
kicker? Mike is your man.
Why not? But
He knows his kickers.
listen, he's got DeAndre Swift, Michael Gallup this week, Robbie Anderson. Who knows with Cam coming in what that's going to look like? I have no idea. I can't expect anything big, but you never know. He caught a touchdown last week. Russell Wilson might be able to throw this week. Who knows? Rob Gronkowski may be coming back. I think Mooney's going to have a good game. I really do.
Mooney. I like Mooney.
And he put in Marcus Johansson for Tennessee, and I actually think that he's probably going to have a pretty good game as well.
Okay.
This is the new Julio Jones beside AJ Brown.
Oh, the new Julio.
So I mean, his team isn't awful, but I mean, let's be fair. His team is tied with Kevin for last place, and he's traded away a bunch of his guys. It's more than likely that his team is not going to win. I would not put any money on his team to win, but I really like Chris squirming because Chris has no confidence in his team whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, if Patrick Mahomes doesn't come out, okay, and get himself 40 points, and if CMC doesn't come out, Chris is going to be freaking. And I love freaking out Chris.
Oh, I hear you.
Chris is a good Chris.
What did Chris get last week for points?
I don't know. But he won. Like he won by like 20 or 25.
166.
I remember it was like Mahomes throwing, and he was playing Kevin, if I'm not mistaken, who had Tyreek Hill, and he was losing it when Tyreek Hill was doing well. And I said, Chris, you know that Mahomes is throwing Tyreek. So any points that Tyreek gets, Mahomes is getting too. He's like, I don't care. Something can happen. I'm not, because he's just been shell-shocked from the year. So he's just, it's a great time. Chris feels the earth shaking beneath his feet, and he's not quite sure. I would say this, if Chris or you, and we haven't got to you, of course, but if Chris,
I heard this. Yeah.
A league source on the status of Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson for Sunday's game, I'd say it's 50-50. He's sick, not COVID.
Ooh.
So there we go. So, with Chris, again, I've lost my train of thought, but Chris just feels the earth shaking beneath his feet. If you or Chris lose this week, I think that is probably pretty much it for you guys. That's what I would say.
We still got games.
You're not mathematically out.
We got 4 games. We got time.
Yes, you have time. Except if you both go to 4 and 6, and all of a sudden you get that creeping away of another game, you've got to overcome that. So it's not just it's the amount and the overcoming. Listen, mathematically, I am not correct on this. I just think in real life, I think you probably are. Like
we're gonna find out.
I know. I'm just saying.
Well, I really hope Mike beats him. He just has to fill this one little spot over here. And But other than that, I hope he gets some. He has some matchups. I'm not sure about Wilson. Maybe
It's hard
that's
to know, right? I mean, last week
hard
was
to
so
know.
bad. Last week was
Hard
so
to know.
bad. I mean, obviously he's coming off of the finger. It's completely understandable. That's why I traded Russell Wilson to
Yeah.
Mike for Boston Scott, which I was explaining last week. Is you have no idea what he's going to be like when he comes back from this finger. Like you just have no idea. Um, who knows? Maybe it's just a 1 week he's back to normal sort of thing,
Yeah.
or maybe it's going to be this season long trying to gut it out. Inaccuracy, not really great. Either way, I mean, Mike's out of it for this year. It's I just hope for it to be a close matchup where I can see Chris just honestly losing his mind, where he starts taking edibles at 5:30. He starts walking around and feeling like the Carolina Panther on his toque is like coming to eat him or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
this is all I'm hoping for is a close matchup.
I am too. I need Chris to lose. I don't need Chris to win. I need him.
Chris has got the momentum, right? He's
Chris
4-0
has
with
the
McCaffrey in
momentum.
the lineup.
I know that
Right?
is true. He is 4-0 with McCaffrey in the
Right?
line.
He's
That is correct.
unbeaten with his lineup intact.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a weird stat for you. Well,
Yeah, I hear you.
okay. Well, I want Chris to lose, but I think he's going to win just
Yeah,
because.
I think Chris is going to win as well. For all of the grief that I try and give him, and everything else, I think Mike's doing the right thing with his roster.
Yeah.
And trading and picking up draft picks, however he wants to pick them up. I think it's wise for him to do it before you, Chris, whoever it is, drops out.
Kevin, drop picks. Trade some drop picks.
Whatever it is, I think he's doing because I just think that if you can fill him up, but yeah, I don't think Rizzy's going to win this week, but I don't think Rizzy cares. I think Rizzy's just enjoying the hell out of it. He's just
As he says, he's going to win either way, right?
Yeah, he's free flowing.
Yeah, he's free flowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, next matchup.
Next one. What do we got?
We got me versus Kevin.
Whoa, we're going second to last for you. What is going on?
I'm shaking it up, man. Come on. Okay. I got Kevin this week, so I need a win. Listen, man, I need a win.
You absolutely need a win. You absolutely need a win. Here's a question for you though, buddy.
Mhm.
So Saquon Barkley,
Yeah,
he's questionable.
I get that.
Monday night game.
Monday night, I know, but there's options for Monday.
Which means, what are you going to do? If you hold out till Monday, which is when you're going to find out about him, if he's deemed, no, we're going to hold him out another week, you have no backup to go to.
Listen, I hear you, but I'll listen. I'll figure a way. I'll figure something out. But I am taking that chance. I understand that.
So you are going to take that chance?
As of now, yes.
Yeah.
But I might change it. Who knows? Come tomorrow, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, listen. I mean, I got to tell you, if you go based on the projections, I actually like Kevin better, and I'll tell you why. Okay. I think that Tyreek is going to have an amazing game against Dallas. All right. I think that AJ Dillon is going to way outscore his projections. I don't like Pittman against Buffalo. I will say that. But, I mean, you got to play him, Kev, if you got this right. He's got Gesicki versus the Jets or Ertz. You got to go Gesicki because the Jets stink, right? Tyler Lockett, again, boomer bust guy. You just got to play him if you have him. Because he could get you 35 or he could get you 2. Like, you just don't know what that is. Right? Zach Moss against Indiana, I'm not a huge fan of. I actually would probably say, Kev, if it were me, oh God, would I play Zach Moss? I actually might play Tony Pollard over Zach Moss, to be honest with you. I actually might. I got to tell you, I wouldn't play Clyde Edwards-Helaire this week. I have no idea what he's going to be.
Put him in. Yeah, put him in. Why not?
Yeah, but I would say, Kev, because Brian's obviously not going to give you any good advice, and he's a liar to begin with. But I would say Tony Pollard, because of his receiving skills, because of his scat backness against the high flying who seems to have sort of gotten their shit together in Kansas City, I actually think he's a better bet than sort of the split backfield of Buffalo against a good rushing defense in Indiana. I would probably go Pollard myself. That's what I would say.
Okay, well.
That's what I would say. Everybody else, I mean, listen, Herbert hasn't been having great games. It's against Buffalo. Against Pittsburgh rather. But they're missing their their all-pro safety there. I've just lost his name as I'm talking about him, but they've
Who,
lost that.
Pittsburgh guy?
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick.
Huh?
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Minka. So that might leave something open deep for Mike Williams to actually make some kind of an impact this week. I mean, you don't know. It's not a great matchup, but
I got Allen, so he's going to be throwing to my guy.
yeah, maybe.
Big
Yeah,
time.
maybe. But like very much like in the Banter Bowl when I took you down. I don't know if you remember that. It was a while ago. But I told you he's going to have a good game, but he's not going to have a great game. And what did he do? He went out and he got you 14 points, which was his projection.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best receiver on that team.
Yep.
But he got you 14 points. There's no touchdown equity out of him. They don't get down and throw it to him in the end zone. He's a possession receiver. So if Mike Williams is able to get a couple of big ones over the top, that's going to help Herbert, right? But you're right. I mean, Allen's going to get some good throws. He's going to get his, what is he projected at right now? 14.29 points.
Yeah, he's right now. He's had the last 3
in the
weeks.
neighborhood of 12 to 17 points. That's what he's going to do.
The last 3 weeks, he's the number one guy.
Yeah, but that's what his points are, though. He's not getting touchdowns, even though he's the number one guy. So he's not gonna screw you, but he's not gonna win you the week either. That's all. He's a good, solid, like number 2 receiver to have on your fantasy roster, but he's not gonna win you them, right?
No, I hear you.
Tyreek Hill can win Kevin the week, right? He can get 25, 35 points. That is completely possible.
But he's the only guy who's going to make the stretch. It's just Hill.
AJ Dillon, I think is going to
Dillon, maybe.
Yeah, I think Dillon's going to eat.
Either way, but that's it. My guys at least have way more potential to hit it big.
You know what? I don't like him. Taylor against Buffalo.
Evans in the Giants. I like that. I like Montgomery in Baltimore.
I don't like Evans against the Giants at all.
Okay, well,
no, they've got their number 1 cornerback there, who's a very good cornerback. I think
that they're going to aim at the other guy, not my guy.
No, I think he's going to have an okay week. Yeah, but again, Evans was supposed to have a great week last week. He got 2 catches. He just got lucky. One of them was like a 65-yard touchdown or something. He would have killed you that week too. So they've got a good cornerback that's going to cover him. I think he's going to have an okay game. I don't think he's going to have a great game. Okay. Montgomery, I like. I mean, again, Dawson Knox, who knows, right?
I need him to show up.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I actually, listen, I think that it would be incredibly foolhardy for me to be saying that Kevin is going to win when he's in dead last place, 10 games, 10 weeks into the season.
Kevin has a good team, though.
Kevin has a really good shot this week, is all I'm going to say. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. I like some of his guys to go over the projections. And I like some of your guys, I don't like some of your main guys' matchups that you're relying on.
Okay.
So, McLaurin versus Carolina, not a great matchup. You know what I mean? Like it's some of these things are just not great matchups. Keenan Allen, Pittsburgh.
Look at me last week. I had all the matchups last week and nothing.
I hear you. But listen, the whole point of this is essentially to look like a buffoon if people actually listen and think that we know what we're doing. I'm just saying, like, you're projected to win, but I don't like some of your main guys that you're relying on matchups. And if you happen to ride with Saquon into Monday and say, I hope and I pray that he plays, and that not just that he plays, but he plays well against Tampa Bay, I think you're really doing yourself a disservice, myself personally. Tampa Bay's got the best or the second best run
defense. Didn't Barkley do the exact same thing against New Orleans? I think he was supposed to be, you can't do it against New Orleans, and then he destroyed them.
Okay, you can say that. Okay, but what you're doing there is you're essentially buying a scratch ticket and saying, remember that time I won $10 30 years ago?
Listen, I get that, but he has the opportunity. If he plays, I'm barking.
Saquon hasn't run in 5 weeks. At the time that he was playing New Orleans, it was a bad matchup, but he had been playing each and every week. He hasn't played. He hasn't played in over a month. So, I mean, if you want to take the chance on Saquon, I mean, what's your other options anyway?
Right now, I got Freeman.
Yeah.
I got Freeman. Freeman's my other choice, which I might, because I don't think they're going to play Murray. I don't think they're going to play Murray, so I might play Freeman, but that's my other option. That's it. So
myself personally, if you go based on projections and you think that your players that you have are fully capable of sort of not skunking you on this, right? Like, there's no reason to think that Keenan Allen is going to skunk you. There's no reason to think that Taylor or Montgomery are going to skunk you, that Evans is going to skunk you, or anything else. I would just want somebody in there that's not going to goose me, right? And
I
Saquon
don't
could
think it's
goose you by just not playing. So
well.
you've got the not playing thing, then you've got the poor matchup thing, and it's you combine those two. If you end up getting a 0 in that slot and Kevin comes back and beats you, your season is essentially over.
I guess that's my chance. I gotta.
Yeah, you actually have to make it, but like if I was in your position, I don't. I mean, you definitely monitor as much as you can. Like, when is Freeman playing? 1:00. So, but you're not going to find out about Saquon. You know, like, it's not like all engines go, he's ready to go, and then you got Tampa Bay. Like, okay, coming back. How much is he gonna? Is he gonna split carries with Devin Booker or whatever? Like, I don't know. It's a lot of
Booker's
I don't know.
questionable. Booker's questionable as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I know. I know. I don't like the New York Giants matchup on the ground against Tampa Bay at all. Plus, Tampa Bay just got embarrassed last week by Washington. So what's the chance that they come back to try and make an actual like again, I'm not trying to psych you out at all. I'm just talking that position right there, that if for whatever reason Saquon comes out either not playing because his ankle isn't ready, or because they just hold him out because they're like, maybe this isn't the right matchup to start him, or he goes in there, re-injures, or he goes in there and just gets stunked at the line because that's what Tampa Bay does. That's almost a 0.
I hear you.
Any which way. So you need him to perform, and he just hasn't performed in 5 or 6 weeks.
Okay.
It's a hard.
Look at this. My banter brother is giving me advice on.
Well, I'm not playing you this week.
Hmm.
Right? But it's also one of those things where it's a really hard question, because I know what Saquon can be. I mean, I know what he can be. It's just if you look at the probabilities, it's like, what will he be? Will he even play this week? I don't know.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I guess he's more like more of a chance of your 50-50 on Lamar, I guess now, eh?
Yeah. You know what I would say? This is what I would say, okay? Is that all signs point to you probably winning, right? Kevin is 2-8. He doesn't win very much. His team kind of falls apart, whether it's on the defense or on other things, right? But if I was walking up to a roulette table, and the only time I ever play roulette, although I did once put it on 18 and I did win, it was like $5, won me $275. So, but I generally would play odds and evens or blacks and reds, because it's like, I don't know, 50-50, who cares, whatever. I would put it on Kevin this week.
Hey, look at that.
I would just, I like the AJ Dillon. I like the Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
I like some of these guys to outperform their projections this week. And so with yours going against some hard matchups, specifically Taylor, who's been raking for you lately against Buffalo, and Buffalo is like the number 1 defense.
Okay.
So that's sort of what I would go. I go, Kevin, I'm putting $5 on evens, and that's you. But, don't let me down, buddy.
Okay, well, I'm calling me again.
Of course,
but,
you called you every week. What kind of a losing streak are you on right now? Like a 2-game losing streak, right?
Yeah.
You're wrong
I've been wrong every time.
You're a roulette to yourself. You're right or wrong, 50-50.
I'm playing the long game for me.
So. Yep.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, I need me to win. I need Kevin to lose. I need a lot of people to win and lose, but we'll see.
I wish I was a fly on the wall watching you potentially stress out. But like I said to you last week, where I'm like, let's just get the excuses out of the way. It's like, are you going to be available tomorrow? And you're like, yep, I'm available. I'm by my phone. Yep. I'm on my way home from buying my kids some winter boots. It's like 1:30. I text you. I say, what's going on? Because I can't see what's going on. You text me back right away. I said, "Oh, he's on."
I was watching.
Like Taylor,
there.
Taylor's already had 6 rushes, and he's at 7.80 yard. And then all of a sudden, I get home, and somehow the projections have changed, and you are nowhere to be seen. You're like, "Oh, I got tired. I decided to take a nap. Just wanted to go for a nice steam. Get out of here." Just freaking out, man. Just in the corner, just shaking.
No, man, I popped a couple mushroom pills and just ride up my day.
Yep, because
We're
you
hoping
because you
for a
saw
nice
you
dry
saw
day,
the
but
writing was on the wall. You're like, why won't they
I need to,
run it
yeah.
with
Oh yeah, I
Taylor?
popped those right away, and just I need to
Yeah,
have some fun, man. Let's. My team was not looking good last week at all.
I hear you,
You know,
buddy. Listen, no one was more shocked than me. I
um,
was hoping for it to be close. I couldn't believe that I essentially had tied it up by Sunday night. That was insane.
yeah,
Insane.
I don't even want to talk about last week.
I hear you. I hear you.
Mm.
I could talk about it the entire time.
I
I
bet
don't
you
think
can.
anybody
Huh?
would want to listen to it.
Okay. Uh, Next, last but not least, Curtis versus Doug, the Patriot Bowl.
You know what? This is what I'll say. Can you imagine? Just take yourself there, because I take yourself to how high on life you must be feeling if you're Doug 5 weeks ago.
Whew.
Just sitting there going, I got the top
Smoking,
receiver, the
yeah, with
top
Henry.
quarterback,
Woo.
like nobody's
Yeah.
touching nothing. You're like offering him, saying, "Hey, I'll take your backup quarterback off your
And
hands."
he's
He's
just
like,
flying these things
"Get out of
away.
here.
Get out of here.
I don't want any of your players.
Woo, get
They're
out of here.
fiddlywinks to me. Look
Yeah,
at my team. I'm running like the,
I
you know,
know.
the I'm running like the '93 New York Rangers out here, which
Oh,
is essentially the
I
'88
know.
Edmonton Oilers. We're going to win the Stanley Cup. This is incredible." And he's subsequently going to lose his fifth game in a row. He's going to go from 6-0 and untouchable. No one could touch his team. Let's
He was
remember.
Thanos. Yeah, he was Thanos at one point. Yes.
Let's remember who it is, the little engine that could that stood up to him to cause his confidence to wane. Let's just remember this for a moment.
You're one of the Avengers that took him down. Yes.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I was Iron Man. I am
No,
the
you weren't Iron
commish.
Man. You were
I
Captain
am the
America. I
commish.
was Iron Man who took him down the next week. You're the
No,
first guy
you're just
who.
sloppy seconds who took him
You're
down. I
Captain
went.
America.
I went. You know
You
what it
you
is?
took his
It's
legs,
Rocky
and then
Four.
I
It's
took him.
Rocky Four. You know what it is? Listen, it's Rocky Four. I went in against Drago, and I gave him a stiff right uppercut,
Mm,
and the announcer goes, "He's bleeding! Oh my God! See, he's not a machine. He's a man." And that's what I did to his team. Is I cut him, and now everybody is just trailing in, and they're like, "Let's
you're
go!
just
They've shown us
sucking
the
in his
way."
blood. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Doug is sitting there at 6-0, and he's now going to lose his fifth game
Oh,
in a row. I can't imagine what would be going on in my head, because I'd be like, I had the world. It was in the palm of my hand. What happened?
I
What
know.
happened? Like, I get that you lose Henry, but and again, you lose Hunt. So those are two big guys, but just to lose six or five in a row, which is what I think that Curtis is going to take him this week. So
Well, Curtis is going to take him for sure.
so this
Yes.
is what I'm saying. So like the idea, like, listen,
Sorry,
okay,
Doug. Sorry,
sorry.
Doug.
Listen,
Sorry, Doug.
I
But
can't
yeah,
even say
I
sorry.
take you.
This is what I will say. Doug, you've had 5 weeks. Why is Mike Davis still on your team? I have
Hey,
done everything in
hey,
my power to insult this man to the point where he should no longer be on your roster. Oh, you just texted me something.
I did.
No. Oh, you like
Mike
Mike
Davis.
Davis. So I have done everything in my power to indicate how useless this guy is. And sure
Oh,
enough,
he
there he
has
is.
wicked legs,
And
though.
not just did he start him again. He started him on a Thursday game. And
Yeah,
not just did he do that, but he started him over Ramondre Stevenson, who had like 26 points
yeah,
last week,
yeah.
because I mean, again, it's not like he did anything great shakes, but he got 8 points. It's like listen, Doug,
Last time I checked, it's better than 3, right?
Doug, I'm quite happy to watch you lose every week, not because I want to be mean, but because I just can't believe it. Like, I can't believe how amazing this team was that you had, that you put together, and just
The
honestly,
slide is
Mike Davis, like, get rid of Mike Davis, buddy.
the slide is pretty impressive so far. What are
It's
we at
it's
now?
it's pretty. It's if it's this week, it's 5.
It's this week is going to be wicked.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
like,
lie.
but imagine it's like the exact opposite. It's like Doug's team is a triangle. It's like on the way up, it's
The peak,
6
yeah,
and 0,
yeah,
down 0 and 5. It's
yeah,
pretty drastic.
yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
So, what can he do to shake it up? Are we? Is it time to trade Henry?
Well, I mean, again, it's a philosophy. I talked to Doug. His reasoning makes sense why he's not.
Okay,
I don't think that Henry's going to be back for the fantasy playoffs, so I don't think that it's that. I think that the decision, and we should talk about this too, but the decision for keepers doesn't have to be made until like a week prior to the draft next year.
okay.
So let's just say you go, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna keep Najee. Let's just say he's gonna choose that. And so I don't need Derek, so I'll just trade him right now. But let's say Najee tears his hip, in the end of July, like, you don't have to keep him. You can just keep Derrick Henry,
I
right?
get that.
So it's smart. Like, he's got a couple of good players, and unless you're going to get something great, then why would you do it, right? So I don't think he is
To win?
based on
To,
my, but he's hoping. I'm sure if I'm Doug and he's behaving the way that he's behaving, I'm imagining that he's thinking that once Kareem Hunt comes back, the magic will be recaptured and he'll have his team again. But I I think that having some questionable depth waiver pickups or whatever the case is, I think if anyone needs to make a trade to improve his depth on the back end, it would be Doug at this point. Because I mean, 0-5, it's pretty stark. He's got good guys in theory. Darren Waller has not been playing very well at all this year.
I hear you.
I mean, listen, he's got Ty Johnson right now in his
You
flex.
got a jet?
I don't understand. I mean, listen, I don't like him, but I would be putting Kenny Golladay in and just hoping for a ton of garbage time. Tampa Bay's secondary is not great. Maybe you get lucky with a Golladay. I'd be putting Golladay in over Ty Johnson for sure. Ty Johnson is questionably, he's like the receiving running back on a New York Jets team that is awful. And you've got Flacco playing. Like, what? Like,
He's gonna throw bombs. Flacco's just gonna go like he's just gonna say, hey, look, I got a ball.
yeah,
Boom.
I mean,
Just
he
okay,
could.
okay.
I
That's
mean,
all
he
he's
could.
gonna do.
That's why I had Elijah Moore on my team for about 3.5 minutes.
Elijah Moore is probably more better pickup than all these guys here right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, in my mind, he is, but it's again, Doug. Does he need? This is the other question too. At this moment in time, does Doug need a win? No, he doesn't, because he was so dominant for the first 6 weeks. He's got the points total scored above everybody else, largely.
Okay, but say he loses all the next matches right now. Like
Oh
say
no,
he
if he
loses the
loses
next
all the
four.
next matchup, he's screwed. So if he
Okay.
if he loses this week and next week, and he's 6-6,
Yeah.
and you've got a couple of guys that move in, and now all of a sudden he's in that
He's in the
fifth
he's
or
in the
sixth
slot. He's in
position.
the muck with all of us.
Yeah, and there's no
Huh.
indication of when Kareem Hunt's coming back. He hasn't been released off the IR.
No?
If I'm not mistaken, Kareem Hunt has a week 13 bye. Yes, he does. So it's week 11, week 12. He's probably not coming back. He's
Yeah.
probably not coming back till after
14.
the bye, which is 14.
Week
So
14.
if you've got 3 weeks of no Kareem Hunt and Mike Davis
Mike
or
Davis.
something akin to that going, I mean, it's problematic. But again, at this moment in time, who's he trading and who's he picking up? Right? So, I mean, Mike's got maybe a couple of guys, but Mike's got to be careful too. Like, listen, we haven't even talked about my Debo Samuel trade with him. Like, I gave him
Oh,
I gave him a couple of guys that next year he can really think about being his keeper. But if he trades if he trades DeAndre Swift, let's just say, he's really limiting his options as far as a keeper. It's Calvin Ridley or nothing, right? Calvin Ridley could come back. He might not come back. I don't know. Who knows, right? Like, people forget how good he actually is because of how this year has gone. But Mike's got to be careful if he's like, yeah, I'll flip you DeAndre Swift and I'll take back an 8. Thank you very much for your 20th. Like,
okay, well,
DeAndre Swift, he really could be, and he's a top 10 running back in fantasy right now, and he's only getting better. It's his second year, right? So if you just say, yeah, I'll just give this guy up and I'll pick up a drop pick, he might be your keeper next year, and it might not be the wrong choice. So
okay.
it's Mike's got to be careful, because I know you can just start to like, I'll sell everything. Everything's for sale, even the curtains. But I mean, I would definitely trade Mr. Henderson, because he's the backup already to Cam Akers, who's just out this year. So he's not a keeper. But the pickings are slim, right? The pickings are definitely slim right now, because it's
Well,
just Mike and Kevin that are out.
yeah, so far it's just Mike and Kevin who theoretically they're out. I don't
Yep,
think they
and
can
there's
catch
2
them.
more weeks, and there's 2 more weeks, right? So the trade deadline is like December the 4th, and it's, what is it right now? November the 20th or 21st or something?
20,
20. So there's 10 days left in November, so it's literally 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
So it's going to be this week, and then you're going to get next week, and then you're going to have to make some decisions. So if Doug loses this week, like, it's really dicey, because I understand why I understand for a while why he didn't make a move because his team was so hot. But now DJ Moore stinks. I was
Right.
listening to a podcast and they were saying that over the last like 8 weeks or something, DJ Moore is like the 40th best wide receiver in all of fantasy football. He stinks. And it's not because he stinks, it's because his quarterbacks stink. And now you've got CMC back. So
Yep.
he's catching a lot of passes. So now all of a sudden he's not that number 3 with a bullet. He's amazing guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, his depth is really, really weak right now. And not just his depth, his starting lineup is now very weak, right? He's got Tom Brady, great.
When do you
Deontay
think Tom's
Johnson,
going to start slipping? It's just a matter of time for
yeah.
Tom, right?
Well, potentially or they start dominating, just run the ball. Deontay Johnson, extremely good, right? Doesn't generally have the super huge games, but it's going to get you that sort of like a Keenan Allen, like that nice
Yeah.
15 to
Decent
18
points.
range.
Yeah.
Great. Najee Harris, I got him in the other league. Great, right? DJ Moore, not so great, right?
Yeah.
Mike Davis, oh my God, I took a crap that was better than him, right? Darren Waller, not very good, right? Especially since John Gruden left, right? Just not very good. But I mean, what are you going to do? I mean,
You have to play him now or trade him. But
you keep playing them. You keep playing them because who's better ultimately? Like you just got to do it, and then you get your Ty Johnson, Jacoby Myers, Ernest Johnson, who's again whatever, Ramondre Stevenson. Like okay, like he's sort of a flex guy. Maybe you get lucky,
yeah.
but the matchup couldn't have been better this week against Atlanta.
Oh, no Krupp too. Oh,
Cooper Kupp, yeah,
no.
good. Those are his two good guys, right? So he's got Kupp, he's got Deontay Johnson, and he's got Najee Harris, and those guys are absolutely great. And Tom Brady, absolutely great. Everybody else, you know what I mean? Everybody else is a Jared team to me. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you get Kareem Hunt back, then that does change the dynamic of it, right? Because now that's your number 2, assuming he comes back and he's in good health and everything else. But you're not getting him back until at least week 14. So
Yeah.
if you're
Doug's in a pickle, man.
Yeah, he's in a pickle because I understand you don't want to trade those guys, right? Like you don't want to trade Kareem Hunt. You don't want to trade Derrick Henry. If you get Kareem Hunt, you're like, that's part of my missing 6-0 team. Like I understand what you're doing, but if he loses the next 2 or 3 weeks, I mean, he's out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a weird year all in all, but watching Doug's team is really strange because I remember thinking, God, this is dominant.
Where is who is he playing next week? Let's see. Week 12. Chris. Big match. That's a big one. That's a huge one for
You
both
just
of
check
them.
what's the projections right now? I mean, it's a little bit faulty. I know.
It's a little fuzzy right now, I guess,
Yeah,
for the
Cooper
players.
Kupp
Let's
isn't
see.
in there.
153 for Doug and 116 for Chris. But
116?
yeah, but Mahomes is not playing, so he has no
Oh,
quarterback. Chris has no quarterback, right? So, okay, Chris,
yeah.
you got some quarterbacks.
Oh, Chris. No Mahomes. Yeah, be
And
freaking.
no Connor for Chris.
That's okay. He's got Melvin Gordon back though. He'll be a good solid number 2.
Yeah. He has no Honey Badger, no
Yeah,
safety,
yeah,
whatever.
but
Right?
the Mahomes thing is obviously big.
That's huge, and he has no Simmons linebacker, so he's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So,
Chris has got some big decisions.
yeah, but you know
I'm
what?
a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried. I might have to spend a 40-minute phone call with Chris trying to talk him off of the ledge and players to pick up and who's good or not.
So yeah, big matchups next week. You know what? Let's talk about next week. Next
We're
week
going to talk about next week. We haven't even talked about all the trades yet.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the trades quickly. Yeah, sure.
Let's do it. Listen, do you remember? This is how cynical we are. So when Kamara first gets traded, we like hold this referendum like in the middle of the week. Let's do a podcast and talk about Kamara. And now there's just trades flying all over the place. We're like, yeah. Let's move it on. You got any comments or critiques about my Debo trade to Mikey?
Oh yeah, that one. I think you gave way too much on that one.
I totally did give way too much.
An extra running back for sure.
Yeah, you know what? I think I could have gotten it done. And again, Mike could deny this or whatever the case is, but I'm pretty sure that I might have been able to get it done without giving Javian Williams up. Just with DeAndre Swift and then Calvin Ridley and then the fourth and the flip. It's possible. I don't know, but for me, I just really wanted to make that trade.
Okay.
So if you look at my team right now, and we sort of were going back and forth on this via the fantasy banter, my team is largely um, Arizona Cardinals and San Francisco
San
49ers.
Fran. You like the San Fran teams, man. I'll tell you that right now. But I'll
Well,
tell you,
what I like is the matchups for the rest of the year and definitely into the playoffs. And so I
okay.
was trying to secure those because it doesn't guarantee you anything. But right now, and I'm going with it this week, right?
Mm,
So I had Elijah Mitchell rather. He goes out, Jeff Wilson slides in, right?
yeah.
I've got Debo Samuel. If something were to happen to him, Brandon Ayuk goes right in, right? So I've got these backups. I've been handling Christian Kirk with DeAndre Hopkins out, right?
Hmm.
So I'm sort of very much isolated. I mean, this is the second time I've traded essentially all of my depth for trades, right? So
Yes.
I'm very much banking on the players and the teams that I have and the matchups that they have being successful for me and giving me a good shot in the playoffs. That's what it is. And I was looking Debo Samuel as of at least prior to at the time of the trade, he was the third total fantasy point getter for wide receivers. Obviously, Cooper Kupp is number one with a bullet. Number two is Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill hasn't had his bye yet, and Debo has. So Debo is actually the number two fantasy football wide receiver in fantasy football. So it's a big trade. Like
Okay.
it's a big player. It's not the big name, but it's a big trade.
Sure. But we traded a lot some big players and around four. Two big running backs, I think. Swift,
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Williams, good.
Well, good matchup.
Ridley,
And he has really good. He has, and I mean, listen,
great
Jared picked him
schedule.
up.
Yeah.
He's got really good.
Great schedule. And you give him a kicker back too. Hey, look at that. Hey, you got
Yeah, I just gave him a kicker. Oh, I gave him a kicker because I wanted Tucker. I just did it because I wanted Tucker.
I guess so, but
Tucker's not doing the best as far as fantasy points is going. But again, for me at this point, I'm going for reliability. I'm
okay.
not necessarily going. So with DeAndre Swift this week and really the rest of the year, he has not very great matchups. Okay. And
Okay.
then this week, at least to start, he's got Tim Boyle as the starting quarterback over Jared Goff. Now, Jared Goff isn't very good, but what's Tim Boyle? I have no idea.
Mike White.
You never know. You
You
really
never know.
don't. You don't know. But you're going with these probability things, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, he's my number two, but right now I can slide my San Francisco running back into number two. And then again, for me, I actually think, and I'm not banking on this, but I actually think that Miles Sanders he's got a great playoff matchup moving forward. He really does.
Okay.
And again, this team, since he was out, has morphed into like a 68% of the time running team. And that's going to be a beneficial flex to backup running back should I need it at this moment in time.
Sure.
Yeah. And then a fourth for a sixth. Yeah, Mikey picks up a fourth, but I pick up a sixth. It's not too far back. And I have good confidence in my research for drafting. So it doesn't really concern me that much. I'm not giving up my first, second, or third at
Okay.
all. I'm just not touching them at all. I told you that. They're
Mhm.
way too valuable at this point. But
Okay.
the fourth was as high as I was going to.
Fourth is pretty good, man. We got
Good.
some good players on the fourth round, man.
Yeah.
So
Again, it was aggressive. I wanted to try and make the trade. I had no idea who else is in behind the scenes trying to get things done.
yeah.
And I wanted to do it. So I get what I want. The commish gets what he wants.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike is making lots of trades here. I can see lots of picks. He's making lots of picks here.
Yep.
So
And you know what? And when you're doing this, though, listen, even if Mike does what Mike does, which is essentially, I don't know how he makes his decisions, but even if he does that, because of the picks that he's got 2 4ths now, he's got,
yeah,
2 7ths, whatever the case is, he's going to have a very solid team. He's just gonna, there's just no way around it.
just don't draft Gronk in the top.
Yeah, and don't draft a quarterback that's got a lawsuit by 26 women where he's never going to play a game for the year. I mean, just do like a modicum of research on some of these guys. But I like Mike gets
A
excited
couple
with these
mock
names. He's
drafts.
like,
Everyone do a couple mock drafts prior, you know?
yeah, or something. I mean,
Yeah.
but he's honestly good. Even if he lets himself auto drafts, he's going to have a really good team. He will, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's doing good things. I applaud the trades.
I like the trades. Trades are happening, coming in fast now with all these rounds and draft picks and stuff. Now they're coming in hot.
Yeah, and I like
I think
Jared's trade. I
it's
like
like a
Jared's
trade a
trade as
day
well.
for Mike, almost like a trade a day for Mike.
Yep. I mean, he must feel like the prettiest girl at the prom. Everybody's asking him to dance right now,
Yeah, man.
right? I like Jared's trade. I'm not a big fan of Amari Cooper. Listen, I traded Amari Cooper to him in our other league. I just hate his boomer bustness.
Okay.
For as good of an offense that Dallas team has, you'd think that there'd be a little bit more consistency with Amari, and there's not. I hate the inconsistency with him, but you know what? It Jared's been looking for a running back for forever. I like Javian a lot.
Okay.
Like, I really do a lot. So Javian moving forward into the playoffs, I think that's a good flex to number 2 running back if he needs it. Amari Cooper again, it's a good flex player to have. You know, you put him alongside, Devonte Adams and one of the other guys you play some matchups. It's a good pickup for Jared. So I think that trade works for them as well.
Hmm. Hey, look, I found this little playoff thing right now. What it looks like in the playoffs.
Who am I playing?
Right now, you would be playing Johnny in the quarterfinal.
No, you're going down, buddy. You don't have Chris Carson anymore. Sorry, you're out.
Theoretically, right now, but this is all going to be changing
Oh
very,
yeah, for sure.
very soon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, really, don't you just want the buy? I mean, really, at this point, if you're even reasonably close, you're like, hey, if you come in first place, you pick up the $50. That's your buy-in. You're already even
Yeah.
Steven for the year, and then you got the buy, and so you don't have to take on that stuff, right?
Well, then you don't take that on, and maybe just start trading for that schedule, right?
And look, right now, Doug's playing Curtis. That's a
Mm.
win for Curtis again.
Well, that's right now. That's what they're playing right now. Okay. Yeah, man. So
It's going. Listen, there are 2 must wins this week. That is Brian and that is Chris.
Yep, 100%.
Must wins.
must wins for both of us.
I mean, mathematically, you won't be. Oh, we should talk about a couple of things.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So for anybody that's listening, I don't know who would be listening, but if you are moving forward, this is the way that we got to be. So if you end up getting mathematically eliminated from the playoffs,
Mm.
okay. So I don't think Mike and Kevin are technically mathematically eliminated, but it might happen after this week.
This week, yes, I think
Okay.
so.
So if that happens, if you see on your roster or whatever that you're out of the playoffs, and I don't even know if it indicated or how that would, but if it does, I'll let you know anyway. You can't take part in the waiver claim deadline on Tuesday going into Wednesday. Okay. Because you can't be taking away players from guys that are actually competing for the playoffs and going for it just to fuck things around for that Tuesday deadline only. After that, do whatever you want to do, right? So after the Wednesday day comes and you want to just start claiming 85 kickers to try and screw people,
So
not
just in the waiver period time that you're
just that
talking
waiver,
about,
just that
so
Tuesday
that's 6
deadline.
hours, right? Just for that little 6-hour period.
Yeah, well, so like you have to put in your claim by probably like midnight on Tuesday night for any players,
Yeah.
and then go through on Wednesday, right?
Which is what, a 4-hour window, right?
Whatever it is, right? But after that, after like it gets processed at like 5 or 6 o'clock on Wednesday
Yeah.
morning, pick up whoever you want, buddy. Because if people aren't claiming them, then you can have them if you want. It's fine
Okay.
because you might be able to work them for trades or whatever the
Yep,
case is.
yeah.
But just in a fairness thing, you shouldn't be picking up waiver claim players through that deadline if you're not competing for the playoffs or in the playoffs.
Well, they can trade them back to you, right? Like,
Again, it's a little unfair. And so I think that it would, so this is generally how it goes in most leagues. I think that it does make sense. It's like if you're out, you're out.
Okay.
But just so you are aware, with keepers, they don't get decided at the end of this year. You decide on them next year prior to the draft. So probably like a week or 2 before or something. So
Okay.
just understand that you don't have to make a decision based on how a player is playing this year, because it could change next year based on team changes, injuries, whatever, right? So just be aware of that if you're trading guys away and saying, well, this is for sure my keeper. Like Jonathan Taylor would be for sure your keeper.
As of
I
now,
would
yes.
imagine. Right. But if Jonathan Taylor all of a sudden gets shot in the head in a drive-by shooting in August, he's
Wow,
not.
that's a little
Well,
aggressive there,
I'm
Nick.
just, well, I've already whatever. It's he tears his ACL. It doesn't matter. He's not your keeper next year, right?
Yeah.
So if you trade all of your players going, Taylor's my keeper,
Yeah.
you're going to be screwed. So it's just important to understand that if you're emptying out your roster, that's when the decision gets made is the following year.
Yeah, because in the summertime, lots of things does happen, and
Yep.
you don't want your player to do a Henry Ruggs type of thing, right?
Cam Akers, right?
Or Cam Akers thing, yeah.
J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, there's tons of players like
Travis
that.
Etienne.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Maybe
they're
Antonio
all.
Brown's going to do something silly again, right?
Yeah, you just don't know. So you obviously probably have a favorite on your team to be the keeper.
Yeah.
And that's sort of why I made the trade with Mike, right? It's like, hey, Swift or Ridley could be your keeper next year. It gives you some options, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at roster changes, roster trades, whatever the case is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that was it's pretty good. We're past an hour and a half, an hour and 10 minutes now.
Oh, they keep getting longer, man. We're getting worse at this.
This is getting bananas, man.
Remember where the first one was like 27 minutes? They're like, wow, I can't believe people are talking on TV and we can listen to them or something. And now we're actually trying to give like real life advice. It's pretty crazy.
Figure that out, man.
But this is going to be great. Listen, no one will feel worse for you if you crash and burn. But I got to tell you, if you crash and burn, no one's going to feel happier either. It's a very strange dynamic that I'm in with you, Brian.
I know. I hear you. It's the same thing with you.
Listen, I'm 2 games up on you, and all I'm sitting there thinking is, I get a $10 side bet, and I get to name your team. If you just keep plummeting here.
Hey, you can name the team. That's fine. I understand that. But you know what? You don't get to put my picture up, so I can still do stuff with my image picture. And
you can do whatever you want with your image.
Yeah, I get
that.
Yeah.
I don't understand any of that stuff.
I know.
But yeah, these are all little things. These are all little things that go into it, right? I love the idea of people I love the idea of Chris losing his mind when Mahomes is throwing for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, and it's still not good enough for him. I love the idea that Chris is like, I need more. I'm not comfortable. I love it because I feel that way. So I understand it completely.
I hear you. Okay, folks. See you next week.
Happy playing.
Happy play next time. Okay, boys. See ya.
Well, that concludes this episode of the Banter Brothers with your host, Brian Paulo, and his co-host, Nick Johnson. Make sure you tune in each and every week where they'll be ripping up the airwaves, delivering you the fantasy football highlights. Again,